Today's video, we're doing part number 2 of converting this old cargo trailer into a DIY mobile hunting rig, so stay tuned. My name is Clint Campbell, and I run the Truth from a Stand Deer Hunting Podcast, where we talk all about bow hunting tricks, tips, and tactics. Today is part number 2 of converting this old cargo trailer into a DIY mobile hunting rig. If you're not familiar with the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button to make sure you get all the upcoming videos and podcasts. Let's go ahead and go inside and get started. Back at the trailer, doing some more updating. I don't remember I took a little bit of a break, so I had trail cameras and stuff to get out, so I don't remember exactly where I left off. I got the rest of the insulation up for the most part, except for the doors, because I've got to bolt through to put another E-tracks in just for a little bit extra stability. So I'll probably insulate those last and then kind of deal with those last. But what I started doing, I don't know if I showed you this, but I also hung a small cabinet to use as a shelf and as like a charging station. And then I also started hanging some paneling as well. So this thing will have just kind of make it look campy, if you will. It's kind of like old pallet wood looking panel, really cheap stuff. Not going too crazy with it, but just wanted something just to, if I'm going to live in this thing for a couple weeks at a time, I want to feel like it's got a little bit of comfort to it. So just doing that so it doesn't just look like insulated walls and that's it. So now it's about to start to thunderstorm, rain, lightning, all that good stuff. So I'm going to throw everything inside the trailer and call it a day and get back at it tomorrow. All right, so I didn't get to film as much of the building today as I wanted to. I had a lot to get done. So I was just trying to kind of jam on the things I needed to get done because I had some gear that I was renting, and so I wanted to get as much done as I could to get it back. So what I got done today, you can see behind me, I got almost all of the insulation up. The only thing I need to insulate now is just a little bit of the ceiling yet, the back doors, and then this little kind of open spot here at the front. The big thing that I got done today, the reason I want to get all the paneling and stuff in, is because I wanted to get the heater put in. That way, whenever I get a nice dry weekend, I can go ahead and cut the hole in the ceiling and get the vent out. So this is what we got done so far today. Making good progress. Feel like I'm going to be done probably by the end of July still. So that's good. All right, so we got the propane tank shelf or holder or whatever you want to call it installed. I grabbed my propane tank off my grill just to kind of make sure that the hose I had was going to be long enough. I put the hose in, cut a hole into the side of the trailer, and then ran the hose into the heater, and then turned the heater on, make sure it was working, make sure I didn't have any leaks in the hose or anything like that. And then I ended up just kind of insulating the whole back shut, and then after it's dried on the outside, I'll go around it with some clear silicone caulk just to make sure that it's watertight. It should be good to go. I think now I'm going to go ahead and jump to, it looks like the rain's going to hold off, so I'm going to jump to doing the chimney and cut a hole in the ceiling of it. And once that's done, the heating system should be kind of good to go and be finished. Today, trailer talk. Today in trailer news. We're going to be putting another set of E-tracks on for the hammock setup, just because I want to do a bolt through on these to make sure that they're not going to pull out, because everything for the E-tracks on the one end was just kind of screwed into the plywood on the doors, on the back doors. So I want to bolt those through to make sure that they don't pull, that they don't eventually pull out and my buddy Chad doesn't hit the ground. And I also wanted to put one on the other door. That way you can lay diagonally across the trailer just for a little bit more space, and to stretch the hammock out just a little farther. And then we had some rain yesterday, so I had to cut the day short. So then I'm going to be jumping to the ceiling or the roof to set the chimney for the heater, and then that'll probably be all for today. Getting ready to install the heater, and the most important part, other than getting it attached to the wall and like the propane setup, is making sure the exhaust, the chimney is set up right. So there's two pipes essentially. There's an exhaust pipe, which is getting rid of all the carbon monoxide and all the BS that you don't want to breathe in, that is venting it to the outside. And then there's a secondary pipe on the outside, which is used as an intake to bring in clean air to fuel the combustion of the propane heater itself. The important part is getting the seal right for the exhaust tube or the exhaust pipe. And so what Dickinson Marine recommends is putting either muffler tape or aluminum foil around the end of the pipe to kind of fit it inside around the exhaust pipe, so you have a nice kind of secure seal around it, so you're not getting any any of the stuff you don't want inside the cabin, And I think I'm good to go now, so I can go ahead and punch the hole in the ceiling and then start getting the cap ready to put on. All right, we had a little bit of a snag. I failed to realize I needed to put the paneling and the insulation up first to run the heater pipe up through, or the heater chimney up through the ceiling. So I did that, put just the one strip of insulation in, and then just one panel up so I could put the chimney up through the roof. Had to kind of make a little situation, or make a little brace or bracket to hold the paneling up in the end, because there's no stud or metal beam to kind of tap the paneling, the ceiling paneling up into. So I did that, and then I cut the hole in the ceiling for the chimney. And so now I'm going to start running the chimney through and get that all set up. All right, that is a wrap for today. We got the chimney in, we got the rest of the insulation and one panel put on the ceiling, which needed to happen to put the chimney in. Got the stack in, so the heat this weekend is all set up and good to go. The cap on the chimney is good to go. So the heat situation is all kind of figured out and installed, so that's good. The big thing now next will be to install the solar panels and then run those lines to the generator. Once that's done, the major kind of parts of the construction will be done for the most part. I got to put a window in yet, which probably won't happen until probably almost whenever I'm finished, and then wrap up the floors. And then I'll be done. So that's a wrap for today. So just got the solar panel in today. Got the solar generator in like a week or so ago. Finally settled on a SunPower 170 watt single solar panel for right now. Just trying to test it out, make sure it works, and seeing how many watts that I'm actually pulling from that one panel. So I'm on the fence as to whether or not I might need one more 100 watt panel or not. So right now, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm drawing 129 watts from this one panel. Now usually you get about, and that's 130, 131. So we're drawing between 129 to 131 watts. When I first plugged it in, it was drawing right around 139, which is pretty good. I mean, you usually only get around, at best probably like 80% efficiency, maybe 85% efficiency of a panel. But the hotter the panel gets, the lower the wattage that it'll actually supply and charge with. It's just kind of how these things work. SunPower, from all the reviews that I read and all the research I did, are the best. They actually have a copper backing. They don't have any lines that are kind of in between or that cover up any of the panels themselves. So it seems that it's one of the most efficient, one of the most durable, and seems to be the one that people kind of trust the most. So that's why I picked that one. So we'll let it charge for a little while, see how it functions, and then the plan is to start to get this stuff on the roof and start installing it. Today we got a couple hours without rain, so this morning, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chloroplast, or the coroplast, I keep saying it wrong, the corrugated plastic up underneath, tack it to the undercarriage to protect the insulation that I put in the undercarriage. And then if I have time, I'll probably start cutting out a little kind of template piece that I'll use of that corrugated plastic to use as like an insulation layer between the solar panel and the roof. The reason being is that when these flexible solar panels heat up, they lose their efficiency, so I want to put a barrier there, and I also want to kind of make it to where I can easily remove the solar panel. That way it's not staying out all year round on the trailer, and starting to kind of degrade the I guess the life cycle of the panel itself. They'll last probably about 5 years, but each year they lose efficiency. And so what I wanted to do was basically make it to where I could pull it off, considering I'm really only going to be using this, probably like a month out of every year if you add up all the days. There's no sense in the panel sitting out and getting beat up by the weather if I'm not using it. So that's the plan for today. We'll see how much we can get done before the rain hits. Back at it with the trailer this morning. Yesterday didn't get as much done as I thought I was going to. I got all the corrugated plastic up underneath the undercarriage, and then moved to the inside and was really planning to get the solar all ran and the panels kind of put up. But what I realized is I needed to kind of rethink where I was going to place the solar generator and how I was going to run all the wiring and stuff like that, because I'm trying to keep one wall to where all the power is on one wall. That way I don't have, cables running everywhere and trying to figure out how I'm going to hide cables and stuff like that. So I had to buy a couple power strips and a couple extension cords and stuff like that to kind of start to map out how I'm going to run things. That way I could ultimately figure out where exactly I'm going to place the solar panels, making sure I had enough cabling to get from the panels to the solar generator while hiding the wires the best I can. So I ended up installing 2 power strips in 2 specific places that can be powered from either the generator or from the shore power. Either way, have power to both of those areas. That way I have a charging station and then one station kind of close to the bed that way you can charge your phone overnight, that we can use it for GPS and mapping and stuff like that during the day while you're hunting. So today we're going to put up the last couple pieces of wood paneling that we need to put up. That way I can hide the cables where I need to hide them. And then from there we'll start to move to the ceiling hopefully and start to actually put in the panels and run the wiring.